Hey Beck, how are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Going well.
Good. I'm so grateful to have you here today, sharing a bit of your experiences of being in Success Without Sacrifice. Do you want to
Yep.
start by introducing yourself, what you do, and where you're from?
Yep. So I'm a physiotherapist from the Sunshine Coast, and I started out doing, after 27 years of a physio, I started out doing private practice about 3 years ago, and I started off 2 days a week, just me. And now a few months ago, I've opened a clinic, a physical space, and I have 8 staff. I have one, two, 3.5 full-time physios and about two part-time therapy assistants, a full-time admin, and I'm now looking for another physio and another admin.
Amazing. So, do you want to share a bit about where you were at when you first joined the program? Because it wasn't where you are now.
No, so when I first joined the program, it would have been about 12 months ago. I'd had by that time employed casual therapy assistants and 2 full-time staff, but they are about to leave, and I was just letting them go. And then I was onboarding new people. I was onboarding a new therapy assistant who turned over. I was onboarding 2 new physios who had turned over. I added another part-timer at the same time. And then 3 months after that, I was putting on a whole new full-timer. So I had just gotten myself up to having clients. And then within 3 months, I ended up having, I don't know, 6 days a week I needed to fill from nothing.
Yeah, and is that why you joined the program? Because you were like, well, I filled myself, but six of us is a different kettle of fish.
Yes, so I had been in another mentoring program, and they were really good at helping me get processes and stuff set up. And I really enjoyed the community, but I didn't know how to fill my books. They weren't helpful with that at all. So for me, I really needed to have a look at the marketing stuff.
Yeah, cool. So, what did you get from being in this program? Did you fill those team members?
Yes, I think you said, it's about following the process and it's a slow burn. And I it probably took me a little while to get started because some of the stuff that you had to do, I had to stop down and really think about it. Like, to do the stuff that you set for me, I had to go back and do the really basic stuff. But the best thing it's done for me, it's made me a way of thinking. So now whenever I go to do an advertisement for staff, or if I do anything, I just have a whole new way of thinking about it. And my husband reminds me, what would Shan say? So even I'm going to be doing a flyer for a handout flyer to give to people at an expo. And my husband said to me, I see how this person's done it. That's not what Shan would say. She would say it has to flow like this.
I love that because I've never spoken to your
Because
husband, so it's filtered through.
yeah, it has. So it's taught me a whole way of thinking about it. And I've also taken some of the things that you taught me, some of those principles, and adjusted it to me. So it personalized it even more. And that's been super successful.
Yes, because it is when we're authentic in connecting with people, which is what I teach from a marketing point of view, right? Authentic connections. It's really powerful
Yeah.
because it's human to human connection, not a marketing to person thing that we try
Yeah.
to teach people.
Yeah.
So, what has been the impact for you? Revenue, business growth, like because I know it's been huge, but what does it look like now compared to a year ago?
It's really hard. So I spent time with, as part of the program, I spent time doing the numbers, and now is about the time I'd be ready to open the clinic based on those numbers. But you have to take the
Wow.
opportunity when it comes up. So I had to take the opportunity and bankroll myself a little bit to do that. But I now, having opened the clinic and using your principles to help fill it, I'm actually trying to hold off on the marketing for a little bit because I'm getting too many clients and I need to get my next staff member on and get them sorted. I guess what it's done, it's allowed me to take that risk, and it did take a little bit of a hit financially, and I'll have to pay myself back, but I was able to do that because I knew I'd be able to fill my books. So I'm now filling my books. It's not a problem. I need to find a physio, but I'm
Yeah.
still using your strategies to find the physio as well.
But that's a calculated risk, right? Where many of the people watching this will be like, I would never do that right now because I have no confidence that the clients would come to pay it back. Whereas you, I think what you're saying is like, I was confident to make the risk, because although I had to bankroll it because the opportunity came up earlier than the funds were available in the business, I was very confident I would get my money back, and so made that decision, right? Which is not what most people would be confident to do. And would you have been confident to do that prior to being in the program, Beck?
No, I don't think so. And it took me a little while, like it took me a little while to regularly implement some of the stuff, but yeah, it's going really well. And I think if you're a highly relational person, I do that sort of stuff naturally, and as long as you like talking to people and genuinely like people, then the program will work. So there's a few people I've recommended it to, but they're particularly because they're the right people.
Yeah.
Yes, and because they're the right people, because some of times you do that sort of stuff innately, but you need to put a process around it to make sure it happens, and then it just makes it easier to do what you're already doing.
And a lot of what people talk about with the program is that it puts a system and process around what you might do innately, so you can teach someone else. Because oftentimes people say, well, I filled myself up, but I'm not quite sure what I did, and so I'm really struggling to fill my team. And so it gives you that, oh yeah, that's what I did, that's what I did, that's what I did. But you've told me in a step-by-step process I can teach. Yeah.
Yes. And the other thing is, I have taken your stuff and you can personalize it and you make it authentic. Like, you're given a sample of a sample of something to send out. I'm going, oh, that's not really me. I'm just going to do it my way. And I actually got really good feedback.
Yeah. And because they are just examples, like it's not a one size fits all. It's like, here's an idea, make it your own. If you get stuck, we'll help. What's been the impact for you personally, Beck, of going from where you were to being much further along on towards this big vision you have and had then? What does that mean to you to be 12 months ahead and way ahead towards bringing this vision to life?
It's probably one of the things you teach is about setting processes in place, and I've done a lot of those and doing them. Because I've got a clinic, those processes have had to change really quickly. And you were saying once, it's the small steps that make a difference, and you're right. The problem is I have to do all those steps at once. So at the moment, it's probably quite hard because it has grown so quickly, and I am in a growth phase, and I keep saying that, but I'm in a particular growth phase at the moment. But I hope, like, I know how to put the systems in place and I know how to do it. And I hope and expect that in 18 months' time, we're running quite smoothly and quite easily. And I will potentially step out a little bit more. Yeah.
And I think what a lot of people say about the program is growth is always uncomfortable, right? If you're growing really quickly, it's very rare it's super crazy and we're just doubling in size every year, and because it just isn't like that. But I think what people talk about in the program is that it doesn't become consuming and overwhelming. You just kind of like holding on to the seat and going along for the ride. And it's a wild ride, but it's not like I'm drowning. It's just like, everything's moving really quickly and we have to keep changing things and it's a lot. But it's not like, oh my goodness, this is consuming me and I'm drowning in this. Like, that's the difference.
I think the other thing, the community is really good. So being in that community is amazing, and I've been able to connect with people that I wouldn't have been able to connect with previously, and that's been really helpful, and sharing wisdom has been awesome.
Yeah. The community is priceless, I think. What would you say to somebody who's thinking about joining?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're a highly relational person, I would do it. As I said, I have done another program before and it was great. Some of the processes were similar to yours, so you'll get the same thing out of it. But I found yours was good because it had both the processes and the marketing.
Yeah, that full picture of the team and the systems and the marketing piece.
Yes, and I think maybe because you weren't a clinician, you bring a different aspect to it. And I know how to be a good physiotherapist after 27 years, but I don't know how to do systems and marketing and processes. So you're not just another clinician who's been through it, but you've come as an outsider and understand our situations. And I think that's really helpful. And as I said, you've taught me a new way of thinking about it. So whenever I go to do something or put something out publicly, I have to go, it's almost, how would Sian say to do, what are the principles that I've learned from Sian?
And I remember the session where that clicked for you and you said, I just got it. I was trying to write an ad and I was like, oh, I'm like selling the practice to the person I need to. And I was like, you got it, Beck, you've got it now. Like once you get it, you can see that it has to come into play in everything, because everything is a transaction, everything's a sale, whether it's selling your practice to a potential new team member in an ad or selling your services to someone. It's all, you know, once you understand where they're at and how you can help, you can communicate that in a way that makes sense to them. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, as I said, I've recommended it to other people, and I think if you're going to run a business, you need to invest in it. So it is going to cost you money, but I see it as an investment, and there's lots of different things that I've invested in, including I spent heaps of money on my website and SEO, and I'm still really happy with that. But in terms of return on investment, this has probably been, like, this is better. Like, I've got great SEO, but that's not where I get my clients from. My website is secondary to the stuff I've learned from you.
And the reality is, like, when you, even if you just look at it in the first 12 months, the return on investment on this program often for people is like 20 times what they paid in the volume of clients that come in, that I wouldn't know how to bring those people in, and I brought them in, and it's working very well. Yeah.
No, it's been, I now have a clear direction and I know what to do, and I'm not worried about getting clients. I'm more worried about getting physios, but all my SEG ads tell me that they're performing better than most people who are advertising.
Yeah. And you have been a very valued member of the community as well. I know that lots of people still call on you and ask for support, and yeah, thank you for being that piece for other people as well. I really appreciate that. Well, thank you so much for coming back and for sharing your experiences. I know that people watching are really grateful to hear from someone who's actually worked with me, and I'm really grateful for you sharing it too. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you.